Unless he had been misinformed, I cannot believe that the leader of my party and the president of my country would use the great prestige and power of his high office to attempt to crush a Democratic committee which is desperately struggling against every conceivable odd to render an unselfish and patriotic service to our beloved country. If the president is displeased with the way in which the investigation has been conducted, why hasn't he or his departmental heads furnished us with investigators, lawyers, and clerical assistants? We have only scratched the surface, and what we have already proven is merely a preface to what we can prove if we are given a fair and decent opportunity. There is not another instance in the history of this country that I have been able to find of a congressional committee which was denied departmental assistance when Congress had requested such help. After the communists and their sympathizers discovered that we were not frightened by ridicule or intimidated by abuse, they resorted to their last desperate expedient of seeking to discredit the testimony which we received. The communists, as well as others, who found no objection to the way in which the Black Committee and the La Follette Committee were conducted, or to the character of evidence received by those committees, have suddenly become sticklers for judicial procedure, although they themselves defended the Black Committee on the well-known ground that congressional committees are not governed by the rules of evidence. Considering the great handicaps under which we have labored, the fact that we have had only $25,000 and not a dollar from any other source, and the fact that we are compelled to hear our witnesses as fast as possible because expenses and salaries are rapidly exhausting our small funds, I do not fear comparison between our work and that of any investigating committee in the past. The people will not be deceived by this new strategy of the communists. I know of no committee which repeatedly had invited every organization or individual against whom any charge was made in the course of the hearings to appear before the committee and disprove such charge. The very fact that only a small number of the hundreds of people and organizations who have been charged with subversive activities have sought an opportunity to appear before the committee or to file affidavits is strong proof that most of the testimony we have received is reliable. Furthermore, it should be remembered that any witness who testifies falsely before our committee can be sentenced to the penitentiary for perjury. At a later date, I will tell you more in detail what we have been up against. I have only touched upon some of the efforts that have been made to stifle or discredit this investigation. Suffice it to say that nothing but a sincere and honest desire to serve this country and to assist in an humble way to preserve its institutions and principles could have induced us to subject ourselves to the most vicious attacks that have ever been made upon a committee of Congress. I am a Democrat. I have been loyal to my party even when I had grave misgivings. In my state, party loyalty is almost a religion with us. But there are some things I place above partisanship and political expediency. There are some things that are more priceless to me than the office of congressman or the approving smiles and blessings of the most powerful administration in history. Among these things are the preservation of Americanism and the protection of this country against the infiltration of alien influences and philosophies which threaten to undermine the pillars of the Republic. America is the last bulwark of freedom, and with all my heart I believe that if we are to prove an exception to the tragic fate of all other republics, we must aggressively and fearlessly expose and combat the insidious forces that are tirelessly at work to destroy the American system and substitute in its stead some alien form of dictatorship. we must expose not only the communists, but those who think that they are cleverly using the communists for political advantage, when, as a matter of fact, the communists are using them to disseminate the Marxian doctrines of atheism and class hatred. May Almighty God, who inspired this matchless republic, preserve and protect us from the swastika of a Hitler or the hammer and sickle of a Stalin. And may America continue to remain a Christian nation anchored to the faith of our fathers, which conceived and ordained an independent Congress, an untrammeled judiciary, and a fair and impartial executive.
You have been listening to the Honorable Martin Dies, member of the House of Representatives from the state of Texas and chairman of the House Committee investigating un-American activities. Congressman Dies spoke to you from the studios of W. Orwell in the nation's capital. Your announcer, Frank Blair.